Jeffrey Lurie spoke to the media yesterday at the owners' meetings down in Orlando, Florida. He said not much, but I kind of feel like he said a lot. So we're going to talk about that. Rule changes, lots of them, not just the hip drop tackle. We're going to talk about all the changes. Some of them I actually really like, some of them I'm intrigued by. We'll get into that today as well. The Rock, he still sucks. I'm going to continue that conversation. I have probably the toughest movie topic debate ever created on this show today. The toughest answer ever for you to come up with. There's so much to talk about, and tomorrow is officially opening day for the Phillies. We'll see if the weather holds up. Everything is on the table, trending in the AM. We're live in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. We are live. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, you know the drill. Hit those like, share, subscribe, retweet, follow, all those buttons. Whatever you want to hit them. Get them done. Get them out there. Get as many people in the conversation as possible. We've had a lot of fun already the first 2 days this week, and it ain't going to stop today. Wednesday, March 27th. I got a banger of conversations today. We're going to start today talking Jeffrey Lurie and what he had to say to the media, speaking about Nick Sirianni, Saquon Barkley, the season, the collapse of the season for the Philadelphia Eagles. It's all on the table. He never says much, but I think he kind of said a lot in the process, if you read between the tea leaves and stuff. So we're going to talk about that. A lot of rule changes in the NFL. We're going to cover some of the top ones outside of the hip drop tackle, plus continue the hip drop tackle conversation today as well. Also, I will continue to talk every day from now till WrestleMania about how the Rock return sucks. I put out a little clip from yesterday's show all over social media. Man, I was called an idiot for saying that. But it's on the table if anybody wants to keep that conversation going. Eagles, Browns week 1 in Brazil on Peacock. We'll continue the constant returning conversation of streaming services, and probably the most difficult movie question poll topic of all time. Has nothing to do with the Goodfellas or Godfather, the movies we mainly talk about on this show. I got the question. That's going to end all questions. It's going to stump everybody. There's a reason why there's close to 150 votes on this poll on my Twitter page, and it's pretty much 50-50 right now. Plus, it's opening day for the Phillies tomorrow if it doesn't get rained out. Phillies are on the agenda. They did not get Jordan Montgomery, who signed with the Diamondbacks, a mere $25 million contract. Big misstep for Dave Dombrowski, John Middleton, the Philadelphia Phillies, to roll with Turnbull and Sanchez and Taiwan Walker at this point. But it's all on the table. Eagles, owners meetings, Jeffrey Lurie speaks. So we're going to get that. I'm Phil Stiefel, your host. Make sure you shoot me a follow. Good morning. Duck, how you doing today? I'm telling you guys, the most difficult movie question ever to come across this great morning show. I'm going to save it. I'm going to wait at least 20 or 30 minutes before I put it out there. Well, let me tell you something. It's been 12 hours, and I still don't know how to answer this question. So we're going to put that out there in a little bit. Don't worry. We're not going to talk too much Phillies today. You better well damn guarantee there's going to be a lot of Phillies on the equation tomorrow. A lot of Phillies on the agenda tomorrow. For sure. I can't shy away from the Phillies on opening day. I just can't. I'll be decked in Phillies gear tomorrow. Whether it'll be sweatshirts or t-shirts, that depends on the weather. But we'll get there when we get there. So Jeffrey Lurie spoke yesterday, guys. What did Jeffrey Lurie have to say? He addressed Nick Sirianni. He addressed Jalen Hurts. He addressed Saquon Barkley. He addressed the end of the season and the collapse. And my basic question to you and to everybody is, did you learn anything from what he had to say? And I think there's an argument to be made that, yeah, there's something that you can learn from what Jeffrey Lurie said. Yes, Big Ale. Phillies. I will dedicate 90% of tomorrow's show to Phillies talk. Guarantee it. I'm going to start today at work, barring how busy it is, and if not later tonight, I'm going to predict home runs for everybody, wins, losses, ERAs, records, thoughts on the team, thoughts on the holes on this team. It is going to be a long, drawn-out thing. And if there's not anybody in the comments, because the Core 12 hates baseball talk, as much as I hate the Rock's return, it'll just be me talking for 90 minutes. But that's okay. I could talk 90 minutes with no comments. I could do it. But we are going to talk a lot of Phillies tomorrow. Because I'm not happy with the Jordan Montgomery going to the Diamondbacks. No. But I'm feeling very positive about this Phillies team. Yes, football. We are starting with football, of course. Of course. Did you hear anything in Jeffrey Lurie's verbiage? Yeah, you got to think about something with Jeffrey Lurie. He doesn't give away much, right? But Jeffrey Lurie is two things. He is very smart. He's very rich. He's a good owner. But he's very smart. And he knows, basically, what kind of questions are going to be asked when he steps to the podium, the rarity that he does it. It was before last season started. His State of the Eagles Union was the last time he spoke to the media. That's the thing with Lurie, the difference between Lurie and Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones always got his face in the media. Jeffrey Lurie, he might meddle in the team operations, but he keeps his mouth shut for the most part. He very rarely speaks to the media. But he's a very smart man. He knows what questions are going to be answered or asked of him. And he perfectly formulates his answers ahead of time to know how to give an answer, but not give too much away. When he talks about Nick Sirianni and how he has the utmost confidence in keeping him, and it was a very easy decision to keep Nick Sirianni. But also throw in how every year, no matter whether you win a Super Bowl or you win one game, there's not going to not be an evaluation process. And that he looks at different philosophies and looks at different ideas. It tells me he might not have said Nick Sirianni's on the hot seat, but he expects better from Nick Sirianni. Now, Nick Sirianni went to the meeting, had obviously a good plan. Jeffrey Lurie felt confident in keeping Nick Sirianni. So there's that. I think from what I heard yesterday, I think it was closer than we realized that Nick Sirianni might have gotten the axe at the end of the season. But Nick Sirianni did enough to save his job with Jeffrey Lurie. Spoke glowingly high on Jalen Hurts yesterday. Not just the specific words, but if you read between it, any of the idiot outlets out there saying that Jalen Hurts might be a mistake or they overpaid him or this or that, or there's problems with Jalen Hurts, there's not. The most important person that matters the most, Jeffrey Lurie, is 1,000% behind Jalen Hurts. I'm missing some notes here. He said that he respected Nick Sirianni's decision to change defensive coordinators late in the season. It was a bold attempt to fix a problem. It didn't work out. He gives Nick Sirianni credit for doing it. It just didn't work out. So that was something that stuck out. The Saquon Barkley conversation with Jalen Hurts or with Jeffrey Lurie. They're always ahead of the curve. The Eagles. They see what's going on. Now, I really read between the tea leaves and think that Nick Sirianni better max out Saquon Barkley over the next 2 years. Give him the ball. If there's a scenario where Saquon Barkley's not getting enough touches, Jeffrey Lurie ain't going to be happy because he wants to get a return on his investment. But they're always ahead of the curve. The hip drop tackle that we spent so much time discussing yesterday on the show and the banning of it and how bad it is. Well, one of the positives for the hip drop tackle being banned is the fact that running backs, ball carriers in general, especially ones that are great at fighting off tackles and never go down easy, are going to have the benefit. It's going to be even harder to tackle them. Saquon Barkley is a guy that is going to massively benefit from the hip drop tackle banning. And they saw that coming. Jeffrey Lurie knew that there was a chance that happened. They also reiterated something that we all forget about as Eagles fans. That, yeah, while we haven't paid a running back in a while, we have paid running backs in the past. We've paid LaShawn McCoy. We've paid Brian Westbrook big money. We've brought in Darren Sproles and Murray in the past, big name running backs. So there is a scenario. This is not the first time they've done it. They've kind of gotten ahead of the curve in this situation. Lurie was into movie production. He knows how to script a good answer, but at times his narrative seems too cliche and pre-drafted. Well, he still is into movies. I think he has won an Oscar since the Super Bowl even. And he does script his answers. And they do sound like he's reading from a script sometimes. But you can I think he is so smart that he wants to give us something. So he phrases things in a certain way that even you and I, if we really listen to it, can find out a little bit more. And I feel that on the Saquon Barkley, Nick Sirianni conversation after listening to yesterday's, conversation or interview or press conference, whatever you want to call it, that Saquon Barkley better get his touches this year or Nick Sirianni is going to be held accountable. Even though he's not the offensive coordinator, we still don't know what this scheme is going to look like. But better use them because Jeffrey signed in that check, and Jeffrey wants a return on that investment. You also can hear him say nothing about the Haason Reddick situation, but he did throw in a little positive word. It's going to work out pretty good. Don't worry. Can't really say what's going on with a negotiation. Got to keep that private. You throw that. It's going to work out okay. Don't worry. Or positively, or whatever words you use. For some reason, I have nothing written down about Haason Reddick's point that he made. So you can read between the tea leaves. Maybe Haason Reddick is going to stay here. Maybe Haason Reddick is going to be an Eagle and get that extension that he wants. Or he's very confident in what Howie Roseman's doing, and he already knows what kind of a package we're going to be getting in return for Haason Reddick and knows that we won't be complaining about. I still don't see that happening. I don't see, Haason Reddick fetching that second round pick, but it is what it is. So we didn't learn a lot about the Eagles from Jeffrey Lurie, but we learned a little bit, and we got a little taste of what he's feeling as an owner at this point. Good morning, Lil G. They did not trade Haason Reddick on your birthday, so you're good. I hope you enjoyed your birthday yesterday. Pay, and I love that you put that same comment. Pay Haason, draft Georgia and Alabama every single day. I love it. I love it, man. Keep doing it and keep coming back. Make sure you're hitting that like, share, and subscribe button as well, guys. Appreciate it. I really hope Reddick staying in Philly, but he has to do what he has to do to get his bag while he can. Yeah, Duck, I mean, I'm one of the few, and I'm assuming by this point that you're making here that you're on the same page as me. I never, ever get upset about an athlete trying to get their money when they can. Hell, totally different scenario and situation. Bryce Harper's only 5 years into a 13-year deal, and he's trying to get extra years tacked on. Cool. You might as well ask. If the team's willing to do it, you might as well ask. When you're a free agent or on the last year of an unguaranteed deal like Haason Reddick, You want to get that bag. Whenever a player's got a bag sitting there that they can get it filled no matter what sport they're in. Sports is a business. As much as it is a game, it's also a big business. These owners have no problem cutting guys. They have no problems this and that. Get paid. Get paid when you can. Your career could be over like that. Get that guaranteed and bonus money when you can because you don't know when your career is over. These athletes have a short window, especially in football compared to baseball and basketball. Get that money, maximize it when you can. Take care of your family for generations to come. Hopefully more and more athletes do a better job managing their money, not losing it gambling illegally. Saw a funny thing on the gambling thing with Ohtani this morning that ESPN reached out to his legal team and asked which authorities did they report the theft to. And they had no comment. And then ESPN reached out to local authorities of the FBI and the police department and the state troopers and whatnot, and none of them had records of an official federal any kind of charges against the guy that stole $4.5 million from him. Anyway, hopefully Haason Reddick gets his bag and has somebody better than his interpreter, protecting his money so that he's taking care of his family for generations to come. Reviewer Devon Ante. I don't know what Devon Ante is, but and I don't know what reviewer. Devontae, he no Pro Bowls, not too many tutties. He will be stop. Oh my god. But Haason Reddick, Jeffrey Lurie didn't seem as worried about Haason Reddick as we as Eagles fans. Again, that either means he knows an extension is coming. Maybe they're just working out the finer details of it. Or B, he knows the trade's coming, and he knows Howie Roseman's plan in place was the defensive end in the first round, or they're confident in Sweat and Huff and Smith, whatever it is. Jeffrey Lurie does not seem too worried. In fact, he seems, out of all the things he talked about yesterday, the two things I feel like he was most positive about was Haason Reddick's situation and Jalen Hurts, his franchise quarterback. And I was going to say, and I quote, I don't know if I have the exact quote. We have a 25-year-old, the perfect quarterback to lead your franchise. I mean, the words he used to describe Jalen Hurts, exceptional. He never used those kind of words when describing Carson Wentz. And they gave Carson Wentz the big deal. I mean, his words to describe Jalen Hurts, the guy's going to be here for the next 5-10 years at a minimum. Does the outcome of the draft dictate the Haason re-signing? If so, does Haason feel a certain way if it does? Excellent question, Peanut. First and foremost, I think if Haason is getting traded, it's between now and the draft. It's he's going to be the reverse A.J. Brown. We got A.J. Brown or DeAndre Swift on draft night for a draft day trade. I could see Haason Reddick being traded. If you're getting a second-round pick, some team comes to the podium. Atlanta Falcons seem to be the hot name. For their pick, the commission comes out for the Falcons and announces, we have a trade. The Atlanta Falcons are trading the 40, whatever. I'm just making up a number. 40, whatever pick to the Philadelphia Eagles for Haason Reddick. That's how I see it playing out if it doesn't happen by draft. If it doesn't happen by draft night, 1 or 2, then he'll probably get an extension and be here. That's how I see it playing out. If it goes into the draft and they draft a defensive end or an edge in the first or second round and don't trade Haason, yeah, he probably gets a little upset about it. He doesn't want to play on a 1-year deal and an underpriced 1-year deal at that. Worst case scenario is Howie should at least, at a very minimum, just restructure this year's deal. Bump it up a little bit. Bump up the guarantees. Bump up the incentives a little bit. I forget exactly what the number is that he's making this year. Maybe, I think it's like $15 million. Bump it up to 20, 22, 25. Guarantee 20 of it this year. Keep him happy that way. All right, he wants to be a free agent. He wants the long-term contract. Give him an extension this year. It's kind of similar to what happened to Saquon Barkley last year with the Giants. He didn't want to play on the one-year deal, and the Giants ended up at the last second, right around the end of training camp, or in the middle of training camp, giving him a little bump, guaranteeing the money a little bit more, bumping up his base pay a little bit. Maybe that's the outcome that we don't foresee. We're just assuming he's getting an extension or traded. Maybe the middle ground is a bump up in the current deal. And that's it. So maybe that's happening. But I don't see him being traded after the draft. I think he's a perfect candidate to trade on a draft day move. Whether it's part of a package or whether it's, just straight up for a pick. I was running a mock draft this morning. I'm just curious. Oh, it only shows me the first round on that. Oh, no, there's round 2. That's how you change it. The Falcons' round 2 pick is 43. Guys in this mock draft drafted around there. You got a safety, Nubin, edge rusher Darius Robinson, Sweat, a defensive tackle from Texas, Bo Nix, Lassiter, a cornerback, goes to the Colts at 46. Troy Franklin, a wide receiver from the Jets, would still be on the board. That's where I see a trade. I want a second-round pick. If it's going to be a second-round pick, it's going to be a second-round pick traded on draft day. So that's how I see it playing out. Who cares about the Pro Bowl, first off? All right? The Pro Bowl is the biggest waste of space and time. All pros are what really matters, just so you know. Devontae Smith, don't bash him. Don't talk negatively about him. That kind of talk is just stupid and proves you know nothing about football. There, I said it. Pay Reddick. That's right. Well, that's what we've been talking about for the last 5 minutes. Devontae has a way higher ceiling than Reddick. I know. TMZ is just an idiot. Homegrown superstar. I'd sign Smitty over Reddick any day. But why have to choose? Smith's extension bears no reflection on what you do with Haason Reddick. Devontae Smith is still under his rookie deal for 2 more years. So whatever extension you give Devontae Smith doesn't kick in until 2026. Whatever deal you give Haason Reddick will have an out by 2026. Basically, if you give him the extension he wants, it's a 3-year extension. 70 million, 75 million. But it would really be most 3-year contracts in the NFL are really 2-year deals with an out after the second year. Which means the Smith and Reddick situation are linked not at all. Zero, zippo, nada. Okay? So one does not translate. You give Devontae Smith his contract, doesn't mean you have no choice to trade Reddick for pennies. It means nothing. The two of those things are completely irrelevant to each other. Both should get done. Both need to get done. At least one will be done, Devontae Smith, by the time week 1 rolls around in Brazil on Peacock. In streaming services again. Now I know they're going to show the local markets on regular TV, NBC. I get that. But at what point do we have to put our foot down that we're tired of having to have 97 different streaming services for sporting events? Cut the cord of cable. Well, it's more expensive not to have cable now. It really is. Devontae couldn't make the Pro Bowl because he had to play in the Super Bowl. Yeah, Stefan Diggs makes the Pro Bowl all the time. How many Super Bowls is he playing in, Marshawn, right? Exactly. Dude, TMZ, we love him. But sometimes he says some things that just prove that he's not an Eagles fan, that he's just a fan of Trending in the AM, the best morning show in Philadelphia. Make sure you hit that like, share, subscribe, retweet button, guys, wherever you are. Exactly. But the Haason Reddick thing, it just sounded like very generic answers. But if you really think about the answers, sounds like the answer is something is in the works, A, but B, a positive result is happening. Whether it's an extension or a better than I expect draft pick. And I say better than I expect because I want a second-round pick for him. I don't expect us to get a second-round pick for him. There's a big difference there. So I'm trying to think of a creative way where if we did trade Haason Reddick, but not get a second round pick. Can he be part of like a trade up in the first round? Like you try. I don't know if he's trying to trade up Howie Roseman. He's been aggressive before, but you use Haason Reddick at 22. Does that slide you up any? Does it get involved in a Patrick Surtain trade? Maybe. I don't know. But I feel like there is something in the works that is going to result in a positive trade or contract for Haason Reddick, from what Jeffrey Lurie said yesterday. Who needs coffee to get the blood pumping when you got TMZ comment? Exactly. Then I'm here to just level you out and say, look, relax. It's okay. Well, I need more coffee. So pause, please. Coffee is going to be a vital part of my life for the next month, even more than normal. Surtain might be an Eagle. Look, we're like on the same page here, Martian, because I just kind of hinted at that. It's like, so you can't get a second round pick for Haason Reddick, probably. A third round pick to me is not worth moving on for Haason Reddick. But can Haason Reddick, I don't want to call it a pot sweetener, but does Haason Reddick move the needle in a Patrick Surtain trade? 22 and Reddick, and maybe some later picks. Is that enough to get Patrick Surtain? Now, I don't know why the Broncos would want Haason Reddick. I don't know why Haason Reddick would want to play in Denver. He wouldn't have a choice. They'd either have to extend him or retrade him or cut him. But the Patrick Surtain trade on draft night, it could happen. Now, I see a lot of rumors and not rumors, I shouldn't say rumors, content creators pushing the narrative, because that's what it's the narrative. Not rumors coming out from any of the major guys like Adam Schefter or anything like that. That's a rumor. When Adam Schefter, or one of those big name guys, says there's a potential thing here, there's a rumor there. When just content creators say it, it's them just throwing shit to see if it sticks. But there's one of them started it, and they're all pushing it now, is J.C. Horn. J.C. Horn would be getting the dollar store version of Patrick Surtain. And it would cost a lot less. But no, if you're going to make that move, you go get Patrick Surtain. And does the Haason Reddick as a piece somehow come into it? Or you make two trades, Haason Reddick for X pick, and then that pick and our pick for Patrick Surtain. Maybe that gets the job done. If we come out of the first round or the draft with Patrick Surtain, no Haason Reddick, and only 1 second round pick, say Cooper, just for hypothetical speaking, God damn, I'd be a happy person. I'd be really happy. And then that 10.5 win total that we were discussing the over-under on yesterday would be smashing the over. That happens. That 10.5 number is going to go up to 11.5 like that. Cornerbacks in the first round always have me worried about not panning out. Yeah, some of them lately have done well. You know what you've got in Patrick Surtain. You know you got to pay him, but you know what you're going to get in him. All these new rule changes and stuff, you got to be. I don't know how you change your philosophy on drafting and signing defensive players, because you can't tackle anymore. The hip drop tackle has eliminated the fact that you can do anything. So I don't know. So maybe you need more lockdown corners that can play tight defense and have more passes defended, etc., so that you don't have to worry about tackling. So maybe the trend will be you need more elite cornerbacks, Marshawn. Need more elite cornerbacks and more on the front line. Linebackers and safeties maybe become more extinct, because linebackers are going to be the ones called for that hip drop tackle a lot, and safeties that come up into the box. So maybe it'll change the philosophy on what kind of players are targeted, especially early in drafts. What is up, Mitchie Poo? Thanks for subtweeting me yesterday with the Rock comment. The Rock return sucks. I don't care if you like it or not, people. I am not into the Rock's return. My little clip I shared out yesterday, I put it on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all over. Thousands of people caught that little clip. 80% bashed me for it. And I expected a lot more. It doesn't matter what you think. I only got that response once. once. I'm shocked by it. The Rock or Tobias Harris. I'll take Tobias Harris over Versace Rock any day and Sunday. Ballpark about 35 days left of Tobias Harris in Philadelphia. Just throwing that out there, guys. 35 days approximately. Rest of the season, maybe the first round of the playoffs. Put you around May 1st. About 35 days. And we won't have to talk about Tobias Harris anymore until he gets re-signed in the offseason to another 3-year deal. And then I get to laugh at all of you. J.C. Horn always hurt. And when he was healthy, I think he got benched in Carolina. I don't trust anything about what Carolina did, period, Marshawn. But yes, he is always hurt. And we just got rid of one hurt cornerback in Avonte Maddox. We don't need another. So I'm not in for injury unless it was a super cheap. Unless Carolina was trying to dump him for next to nothing. I mean, they misread people's trade values all the time. I mean, they had a first round pick offered at the deadline last year for Brian Burns, and they turned it down and ended up only getting a second from the Giants for him. So they misread things a lot. It was a dumpster fire of an organization. It still is. So maybe you could trick him and them into trading him to us for cheap. But again, he's always hurt. So he couldn't be a guy you rely on. Patrick Surtain, he's the guy I want. No offense to the first round corners. I think you just roll with if you're going to draft one of those cornerbacks in the first round at 22, 26, somewhere around there, I'd rather just go with what we got and improve the edge, the defensive tackle, grab an offensive lineman, grab a wide receiver. Because you still have Slay, Bradbury, Isaiah Rodgers, Keely Ringo, and Eli Ricks. You got and Zach McPherson. You got 6 cornerbacks on your team that can play. And maybe under this new system works out. So I'm either going and getting the home run swing, Patrick Surtain, or I'm rolling with what I got and improving other areas of this team. That's just where I'm looking. You've technically invested in that position with Ricks, Ringo, Rodgers, and McPherson. It's time for them to step up. That's all there is to it. Do you really need physical defense in today's NFL? No. You need a lockdown. What do you need in today's NFL on defense? You need lockdown corners that you don't have to worry about them making tackles because the balls aren't completed. And you need guys that are going to pressure the quarterback to make him make mistakes. And you need guys to clog up the middle to stop the run because the running game is going to evolve back into a positive light because linebackers and safeties won't be able to make tackles on the second level anymore. You're not going to see many hip drop tackles from a Jordan Davis to get flagged. You're going to see them from Devin White. So you need to build up your defensive line and you need to get lockdown corners. In my opinion, that is where the defenses are now. Linebackers mean even less now. Safeties may start to mean even less now. Final boss beat the crap out of Cody. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of entertaining, that part. But the promos, terrible. I'm not buying The Rock. I'm not. It's his worst acting job since he was the Tooth Fairy. All right? And he's had a lot of bad acting jobs over. Current Rock proves how bad of an actor Dwayne Johnson is. That is actually the correct answer why I hate The Rock's return. It's proving how bad of an actor he is. Before he started acting, becoming a movie superstar, original Rock, it was unique, it was new. Now it's just Dwayne Johnson acting. And he's a bad actor. Just saying. I wonder if Rock has to sign off on anything personal related drama for Cody. Rock seems to have all the clearances to go. Yeah, anytime you're attacking somebody in wrestling's family, like I think Becky Lynch was attacked on verbally, something like that. All that stuff gets cleared ahead of time. Family is one of those things that you've got to get permission. You don't do that unless you get permission from your opposite in that situation. I need a physical backup running back. LeGarrette Blount was so impactful. Yes, I know this will upset K1 if he was watching, but yeah, I still think Kenny Gainwell is not the answer, and I almost still believe what I said jokingly before, that he might be on the trade block. You need a powerful physical backup to Saquon in case he misses time, that could fill the same type of role. You could keep Kenneth Gainwell as a third running back, maybe, but I don't know. You probably end up drafting one somewhere in the NFL draft in later rounds, in my opinion. I don't like The Rock's return. Did you miss all of yesterday's show when I bashed him nonstop? The Rock says it doesn't matter what I think. Panthers play on turf. All their players are hurt. Yes, they do. Pass rush, according to Mark Milsitz, is that the most important position building a defense? It has been for a while, Mark, but I think it's now being elevated with the new rule changes to be even more important than ever before. Which why getting rid of Haason Reddick and his 27 sacks over the last 2 years could be a massive mistake if they did it. But Jeffrey Lurie speaking yesterday made me feel confident that something positive will come out of this situation. Speed on perimeter defense for sure. And big, the return of the 350-pound nose tackles and speed. That is what's going to be most important in the NFL anymore. Speed even matter for a cornerback in the sense that if you get beat and a wide receiver breaks away, you can't even try to chase down the runner to tackle him. Because if you chase down a runner from behind, most likely you're going to get caught for a hip flat. Even if you're not trying to tackle the hips, a hip drop tackle is going to happen. So you better keep everybody in front of you at all times. Actually, that changes what's important. Lockdown cornerback, keep the wide receivers in front of you. Maybe linebackers become more important to keep the runners in front and not getting behind you. There's a lot going in. This hip drop tackle banning, which we haven't even talked about, the kickoff changes and other changes that I really like rule-wise, it changes everything, the hip drop tackle banning. You as a GM, and we're lucky as the Eagles. Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie are always ahead of the curve on so many things. Paying people, paying positions, making changes to their philosophies before anybody else does. They've always been like that. But the hip drop tackle changes the philosophy of building a defense. Actually, a lot more than I realized till this exact moment. Getting rid of the hip drop tackle is going to make it next to impossible to stop wide receivers with speed and power and running backs with thunder thighs, a.k.a. Saquon Barkley. There's going to be a ton of flags thrown this year. It's going to suck. And the more flags, the slower the game will be. The more we're going to have teams complaining. We'll be complaining about bad calls against us. 49ers will be complaining that they're not in the Super Bowl because of flags in week 4. You know, it's not going to be pleasant. I'm just thinking. Like, think about it. Like, if when James Bradbury gets burnt, okay, on a double move, and Amari Cooper is breaking away, and he doesn't have huge breakaway speed. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson starts running up from behind to grab him, to catch him from behind. He's basically got a flash. Either flash, run past the receiver, get in front of him, stop, turn around, and grab him. Because if you grab a receiver from behind on a breakaway speed, 9 times out of 10, you are going to slide down them and try to trip them up at the ankles. Hip drop tackle, flag, 15-yard penalty, whatever. It is going to make major changes in so much. But see, here's the thing. You're saying the words, when healthy. You can't help the club from the tub. Plain and simple. Big Show says, yeah, I'm not worried about Big Show. No, stop. I did watch, I don't know if anybody watched The Wrestler or whatever it was called. It was the OVW miniseries documentary on Netflix. It had a lot of Al Snow in it. It was actually a fantastic little 7-episode show. Fantastic. It doesn't matter what Phil thinks. I'm surprised that more people didn't comment on my videos like that yesterday. For the facts that someone can even say, do you really need physical defense, shows the game I love is getting soft. I agree. And it's not going to turn into flag football. I mean, it's going to feel like flag football, but they would never do that physically. But what it does is it changes things. As a team, your philosophies, you got to prioritize different things on defense, and you got to prioritize different things on offense. You got to prioritize speed on offense more. You got to prioritize strong guys with strong lower bodies that can break tackles. Like, the whole philosophy of building an NFL team now changes, and I'm glad we've got Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman, who are always so analytically on top of that, beating the curve to these changes. I don't sit in the rule committee. What I got to do with the NFL? Yeah, exactly. I wish I would not have done that. I don't think the new tackling rule will stand because it would just be ridiculous, or they will keep all receiver lower and make cornerback attack the line. Well, it's going to be there for this year. Maybe they adjust it after 1 year, but it's not good. It's not good. Not trying to troll. Just the league and players don't think Devontae is worthy of All Pro or Pro Bowl. Devontae Smith, stop. You are trolling. Obviously, he's not as good as Justin Jefferson or AJ Brown yet, or Devontae Adams. There's only so many All Pro spots. He's a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL. So stop. Number 0 came from the Eagles. What? I'm fan of team, not player. Take Trey White. Diggs is overrated. Well, Diggs is not overrated either. Your evaluation of wide receivers is not that great. You have a dumb friend named Cheddar Bob. Yeah. What is up, Dimitri, my brother, Philly sports fan, looking for a cool space to join on here. Join in every day. The tagline of this show, where your opinions actually matter. There's so much on the equation there. We're talking Eagles. We're talking everything here. Um, tried of these random spaces with tired of these random spaces with disrespect. We don't disrespect. We discuss. We discuss a friendly, fair conversation every single day here on this show. Yeah, so that's what we do here. I thought you would be a team like no, not at all. On another note, you'll see what Barkley said to Kelce. I yeah, I did. I want to change something here. I don't remember exactly the wording of it though. Peanut. So I want to throw a little fun. We're going to continue this. I want to get into rule changes in a minute, but I'm going to throw something into the conversation here that I guarantee is going to dominate it from a non-sports perspective for the second half of the show. Last night, yes, I was not watching Flyers hockey. Was not flipping through the channels, flipping through the clicker after Fairway to Heaven. Check out the replay. Same place you're watching this. Best golf podcast there is in the business. Myself and Jason. Sahith Tagala winning the Texas Children's Houston Open. That's my pick, 20-1. You can get that number on DraftKings. Link to my DraftKings account below if you want to sign up. But I was sitting there flicking through the clicker last night on TV, and I got to AMC, and the one and only Ace Ventura: Pet Detective was on TV. And it's a banger, man. It still makes me laugh now. 30 years later, still laughing my ass off. And while I'm watching it, it got me thinking. I put a poll out there on Twitter, and I want to go here onto my Twitter profile, and I want to pull up to see what the latest votes are, okay, on it. All right, we're up to 149 votes on this poll. Take Jim Carrey's, in my opinion, 3 most famous movies: Ace Ventura, The Mask, Dumb and Dumber. Okay, Ace Ventura, The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, and put them up against in a 1-versus-1 competition against, in my opinion, Adam Sandler's 3 best or most famous movies: Happy Gilmore, The Water Boy, and Billy Madison. And whose are better? Who was the better prime movie comedian? Now, oddly, I had no idea Ace Ventura, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber all came out in the same year, 1994. That's crazy that Jim Carrey put out 3 bangers like that in the same year. Sandler's 3 that I named, Gilmore, Madison, and Waterboy, were from 95 to 98. Right now, almost 150 votes. It's 54-46. Jim Carrey's leading just a little bit. And most of the comments saying they voted for Jim Carrey because he put out all 3 in the same year. Can't imagine how busy 94 was for Jim. 93 in the filming, 94 in the promotion of those 3 movies. God damn. I'm throwing that into the equation, and we're going to start talking rule changes on top of the hip drop tackle. Go Jim. Brandon Bean says he and others agree to hip drop. Yeah, okay. Like crown helmet rule, it's for legal. Okay. When did Ace Ventura become a classic? You do not like Ace Ventura? That's. Am I reading that right? Ace Ventura is not a classic movie. It's a classic. It's a banger. Still flies today. It will be enforced with fines, not penalties. What the hip drop is going to be a 15-yard penalty. Well, everyone is real friendly around here. Best line. Yeah, it is a great line. Um, be sure that you do drinking out of the toilet. I could have. Um, you didn't put no. There's a lot. There might be movies that are better than the three for each that I need. But I was thinking mid-90s, and I was thinking the movies that are on TV the most popular, the most not common, the casual fans. Like not everybody has seen the Truman Show, but everyone's seen Dumb and Dumber. Well, I would say a lot more people have seen Dumb and Dumber than the Truman Show. A lot more people have probably seen Ace Ventura than the Truman Show. So I went with the most famous movies of their things. Not necessarily the best, but the funniest and the most not the funniest, the most popular. So no, I could have put there are plenty of other great Jim Carrey movies. Hell, I'll put Jim Carrey on In Living Color above all his movies. Jim Carrey, not actually, it wasn't Jim Carrey. His name was still James Carrey at the time. On In Living Color, nothing better. He put out those three movies in 1 year. Now, movie by movie, I think Adam Sandler's three I named, Madison, Waterboy, Gilmore, are better than Ventura, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber. And barely, but they are. But 3 in 1 year? It's crazy. I've heard a rumor about this. They're doing it for Netflix because Happy Gilmore. Adam Sandler's got a deal with Netflix. I don't know how I feel about it. Have to wait and see what they even do. AMC is American Classic Movie Channel. Yeah, is it? Um, Good morning. What's up, NFL Reality Check? How you doing? Tom Ace. It's mostly old black and white movie channel. Yeah. Man, I don't think I can just toss a vote on that one. Broken down over the course. I know. I put out probably I had at least 5 people comment on the poll saying this is too tough to answer. They had more. They needed more time to think about it. And I just think Jim Carrey wins out because he did all 3 of them in the same year. It doesn't classify. Okay, all right. I think I get what you're saying. It's still a damn funny movie. Damn funny. Said they agree to the rule change. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I hear you. There's a lot of people who agreed with the rule change because it was voted and passed. Promised enforcement with fines, not penalties. The hip drop tackle will be a 15-yard personal foul penalty, not a fine. Okay. Me, myself, and Irene was his best all time. You get all of Jim Carrey's best in one movie. Yeah, it was a really good movie. But again, it's not as popular. I bet you that might be one of the 5 least viewed Jim Carrey movies of all time. Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, first Ace Ventura is still funny. I could watch Happy Gilmore anytime, anywhere. Billy Madison is hilarious. I love the Water Boy. Man, few people said this about the mask on this poll in the thread. Let me tell you something. I love the mask. I think the mask is way funnier than people realize. Second Ace got good because it was a nostalgic thing. It wasn't necessary. Dumb and Dumber, okay. Dumb and Dumber was fantastic. Fantastic. It might be the best of all 6 movies I named. Ace Ventura is the movie I go to when I feel like the world is just crapping on me. Yeah. I love the mashup of Ace Ventura and The Walking Dead. Ace Ventura running through the woods in Ace Ventura 2. And they mash it up with the Walking Dead, Rick and his crew shooting arrows and axes. And they keep landing in Ace Ventura's back. It's hilarious if you see that out there. Waterboy, yeah, it's really funny. It really is. But it's probably out of all 6 of them, it's probably the weakest of the 6 movies I need. But anyway, so keep coming with the with the Jim Carrey versus Adam Sandler, just those 6 specific movies. That is all we are grading them on. The Mask, Ace Ventura, and Dumb and Dumber versus Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, and The Waterboy. That is all we're judging and grading on. Keep with those, but let's get to the other rule changes. The wife hates Adam Sandler. She calls him the non-PC version of a person with a mental deficit. Wow. We're not big fans of his Jennifer Aniston movies on Netflix, but Otherwise, pretty big fan of him. Do you mind if I pet your dog? The mask is legendary. Yeah, man. Cameron Diaz. That was prime Cam. Prime Diaz right there. She was smoking. Did I say that right? Did I say it right? Smoking. Yeah, see? Ace Ventura is very funny. Cable Guy is actually a dark but very funny movie. I actually do like the Cable Guy a lot. I'm just saying. We need to acknowledge that there's a lot of comic legend in the mask, not just Jim Carrey, but his best friend played by one of the most comedians of all time, Richard Jenny. Yeah, The Mask is a great movie. I think it's extremely underrated, extremely underappreciated. I find The Mask funnier than Ace Ventura sometimes. Definitely better than The Water Boy. Maybe better than I don't know. It's up there. It's up there. I got a package, people. We're just naming quotes. We're just gonna recite the whole movies here. Somebody stop. All right. Rule changes around the NFL. Let's drop some of them into the conversation. What you guys think of. First, we've talked about the trade here of Haason Reddick and Patrick Surtain. They have pushed the NFL trade deadline back one more week. Used to be like week 3 or 4, then 6, then 8 last year. Now they're pushing it back to week 9. So you get another week to evaluate trades. Pro that. Might as well push it back to 10 or 11, honestly. I think about week 11 or week 12 would be ideal, for sure. But that is a win. Another rule change that the NFL has instituted, the challenges, okay? You used to have to get 2 challenges right to get a third challenge as a head coach. Now you only have to get 1 challenge right to get a third challenge. Fantastic. I think there should be unlimited challenges, right or wrong. Or maybe make it like a 3-strike. You challenge as much as you want. You get 3 challenges wrong, then you stop. Get them. But you should be able to challenge anything, anytime, anywhere. Love that they're giving them an easier path to getting a third challenge. Great rule. Okay. The emergency quarterback rule. Okay. Last year, you could have that emergency quarterback. Didn't count. He had to be on your 53-man roster, but didn't have to be one of the 46 that were dressed. It could be one of the inactives on game day. And now your emergency quarterback could be on the practice squad. Huge in roster construction. Think about that. Tanner McKee can go to the practice squad. Will Greer could go to the practice squad. Hell, anybody. Kenny Pickett could go to the practice squad. And then you can elevate them as the third emergency quarterback. It's a huge roster thing right there with that one. Love that one. Okay. And then the 2 big ones for me, all right, the down by contact rule and the kickoff changes in the NFL. So first and foremost, that whole rule, the dead down by contact dead ball rule where you can't review certain things, gone. It can all be reviewed now. Pretty much everything is reviewable now on the field. Can't review penalties, but you know what I'm getting at. Pretty much everything is reviewable now. And that is a major thing. I hate when coaches want to challenge something, but the refs blew the play dead. So you can't challenge it because the refs blew their whistle. Eliminating that is a major deal for me. So that's a big change to me. And obviously the real big one, kickoff rules changing drastically. And like 3 seconds after the rule was announced changing, Cordell Patterson gets a big contract, I think, with the Steelers. So somebody already scooped up the best returner in football like that. So now there's new rules that they're adopting the XFL kickoff rules where players can't start running until the ball is caught by the catcher, but they're closer to him. They're going to create an opportunity to keep kickoffs safe, but maybe make kickoffs more exciting. I think it's a fantastic rule change. That's a tip of cap to the XFL for coming up with this idea. Do I think it'll stay forever? I don't know. It's going to be temporary. It could be temporary, but it could work. I think it's a fantastic kickoff rule change. I love everybody's opinions on it. Fire back through these comments. Click the whole said, hold the phone. Kill at 3 o'clock. Shaka. Yep. Hip drop will be like the Clay Matthews rule. Ridicule will force refs to stop calling by mid-season. That's interesting. Interesting philosophy there. I am okay with the kickoff change, but the hip drop tackle is just a mistake. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm okay with every single rule change that has happened. And I think every single rule change that has happened makes a lot of sense. Except for the hip drop tackle. 3 darts are too much. Yeah. um, XFL kickoff is now part of it. Who's going to be the Eagles kickoff? You can't just go out there with Boston Scott because he's a safe kick returner. You actually need a legitimate kick returner again in the NFL. Teams are going to be scrambling for guys that can return kicks now. We might see an Eagle player get a kick return for a touchdown this year. When he rips out the mechanical rhino's butt and scares the family. I can't even get through saying it, okay? 3 darts. I like that take on the emergency quarterback to the practice squad too, but I don't like the 49ers created the original rule from last year was created because of the crybaby, not the Cody crybabies, but the 49er crybabies. Okay? The San Fran crybabies. But the practice squad part of the rule, like Tanner McKee had to be part of the 53-man roster all year last year. Now he doesn't have to. I love it. It's fantastic. Opens up a roster spot if you want it. It's a critical rule change that's going to kind of go under the rug a little bit because people aren't going to realize what that does to roster construction. And I'm surprised. We talked in the first quarter of the show about how Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie are ahead of the curve on so much. I guess nobody saw these kickoff rule changes coming. Because if they did, Howie would already have a solidified kick returner on this roster. Who on the current Eagles roster, because Boston Scott's a free agent right now, and he can come back, but he's not an exciting kick returner. He's okay. He's average, adequate. Maybe with the new rule changes, he's better at it. But what positions are normally kick returners? Running backs, safeties, sometimes cornerbacks, but that's about it. Anybody on the Eagles that can return kicks outside of? I don't foresee. I can't figure out who might be the kick returner with that rule change. They also made changes to the onside kick rule, which actually they're kind of stupid. You can now overload one side or the other, and you actually get to. I think that if you're going to do an onside, well, no, they have to change it because of it. So you have to declare you're going to do an onside kick now. So there is no surprise onside kick. Reason being because with the new kickoff rules, all the tacklers are going to be 20 yards ahead of the kicker. So your guys would have to move back. So with the defense, so you have to declare that you're going to do an onside kick now ahead of time. That's kind of stupid. Takes away the surprise. Takes away the element there of what an onside kick really is all about. So that one I'm not fan of, not fond of, but that's that. But the rest of the kickoff rules are good. That's why I really want to see. The Eagles have now, I think, 3 years in a row proposed a 4th and 20 rule instead of the onside kick. If you score a touchdown and you want the ball back instead of onside kicking it, they put the ball at your 20-yard line and they make it 4th and 20. And you get one play to pick up the first down. And if you do, you keep the ball. If you don't, the opposing team gets the ball wherever that play ended. I would love that. Could you imagine you score a touchdown with a minute left and you have to run another play, 4th and 20, to get the onside kick instead of the onside kick? That would be 10 times more exciting than the onside kick. Onside kicks are very unsafe, honestly. You know, in theory, they are. 12 guys just running head into each other looking for one little football. So that is one I wish would get changed at some point, but hasn't. Kenny Gainwell, kick returner extraordinaire. If he is the kick returner extraordinaire, K1, please explain why he has not returned a kick yet. Well, he might have returned a few. but they keep Boston Scott for that exact role the last few years. Like, all the changes, just not the hip drop. I understand they're trying to save ankles, but come on. You want these guys to think they're where their hips are while they're playing fast. Yeah, I mean, the hip drop tackle is the only one I'm true. Like, I don't like the onside kick change to declaring it, but I'm going to accept it because it creates the excitement on the regular kickoffs and that and all that. The hip drop tackle is the only one that I think is a miss by the NFL. Talking about missed tackles, the hip drop tackle is a missed tackle. It's a miss on their part. We have a good kick returner on the roster. He liked to make bets at the facility. So Isaiah Rodgers, yeah, that's right. He has been a kick returner. And Jeffrey Lurie, and I passed over that part. Jeffrey Lurie did say in his presser yesterday that he's very confident that Isaiah Rodgers will get, you know, reinstated before, camps start and all. So that's a positive. I know my take on the Ohtani situation, but in general about sports and gambling yesterday. I posted a clip from that yesterday on social medias, a little 30-second clip of what I said yesterday, and it got a lot of mixed reactions, specifically from my man Mark, who hates my opinion. But again, to reiterate what I said yesterday on this very show, I said it is not the league's fault that players are getting caught gambling. It is not the league's fault that they're in bed for advertising dollars with gambling sites. It is not their fault that these players are breaking the rules in gambling. The players in sports leagues, all major sports leagues, are grown-ass men. They know the rules of the job that they chose, and the rule says don't gamble. So if you're a grown-ass man, you follow the rules or pay the consequences. We're not talking about a 12-year-old throwing a temper tantrum because they don't like a rule. We're talking about grown-ups, grown-up fields, big boy jobs, big dollar paychecks. Follow the rules. It's not the team, owners, or league's fault one iota. I got more mixed reactions on that than I did the Rock sucks video I posted. Just everyone told me I was stupid for the Rock one. The other one had a lot of other things. Tackling. I get what you're saying, my man. I do. I understand. When the April 8th eclipse occurs and the shaven beard returns, the great prophecy of the knowledge will occur. That sounds really deep right there. Way too deep for me. But guys, you're watching Trending in the AM right here. Philadelphia Sports Network. Like, share, subscribe, retweet, follow. Wherever you're watching, interact with the show. You get a lot of people watching on Twitter. Not a lot of comments. We've had a few today from Twitter. Drop those comments. We're talking Jeffrey Lurie talking. Saquon Barkley, Haason Reddick, NFL rule changes, Phillies opening day, Sandler versus Carey, and The Rock sucks. Oh, and Phillies opening day. Again, I'm going to reiterate that Phillies opening day is tentatively mañana. For those that don't know, mañana means tomorrow in Espanol. If you know, you know. It's an inside joke that I make a lot. Not on this show, but in general. But anyway, Sandler versus The Rock. Sandler versus Carey. The Rock sucks. Opening day. It pales in comparison. We're talking rule changes. So Isaiah Rodgers would be slotted as of now because Boston Scott's a free agent still. Isaiah Rodgers. I'm gonna have to look that up after the show. Isaiah Rodgers kick returner. I know I remember reading that he did it a lot in college. I don't know if he did it in his rookie year with the Colts or not. But I think it doesn't even matter because the NFL has done away with kick returns in general. But now they're trying to bring it back, and I think that's good. So they're making changes to protect players for more offense, and this kick return could create a lot more offense, a lot more scoring, so to say. And again, you get a fast, speedy kick returner or somebody like Cordell Patterson that could break tackles nonstop. Kick special teams is going to be more important, but also, the kick returner, you start to get that space. That hip drop tackle is going to come into play on kickoffs massively. The Eagles have made a lot of fringe moves too, linebackers and safeties, guys that we don't really know. They're not starters, whatnot, but it's to improve the special teams too. A lot of these like smaller signings the Eagles have made are prime special teams players. So Howie has known that this could happen, and he made sure to make moves so he continued to grow as a special teams unit on a tackling end of the equation. Interesting. Interesting for sure. Dak not being re-upped. Yes, Dak Prescott, that's word coming out of the Dallas Crybabies camp. Jerry Jones and Dak Prescott are on the same page. And it looks like Dak Prescott's going to be playing on the last year of his deal. Is that accurate? Is that what I read? Dak Prescott and their coach McCarthy, both on the last year of their deals. Jerry Jones basically, there's a scenario in my head where Jerry Jones is basically punting on this. They still have a lot of talent on the Dallas Cowboys. Dak, CD, Micah Parsons. Diggs will be coming back from his injury, I'm assuming. But they're basically punting on this season. They've made no free agency moves to improve their team. They don't have extra draft capital. They basically don't have a coach or a quarterback after this season, unless Trey Lance is that guy. Basically, Jerry Jones has gone to McCarthy and Dak and be like, yo, do the best you can this year. If you do well, we'll talk. If you disappoint me, deuces. I love it. Now, I still think Dallas, even in that turmoil situation they're in, are the second best team in the NFC East behind the Philadelphia Eagles. Yes, I think the Eagles win the NFC East. They're hands down the best team in the division overall. I don't think Washington or New York at this moment, come week one, that could be a different opinion on that. But at this moment, I don't think either of them are ready to take that jump to second in the division yet. Saw rumors floating from some of the Washington Commanders people out there that they might not even draft a quarterback with their early pick, which would be a mistake, probably. But we'll see. But the Dak and the McCarthy and the Cowboys being in a difficult situation for their franchise, it just brings a smile. It doesn't make me laugh as much as Ace Ventura did last night. Okay, put me in, coach. It's going to be Dak Prescott when he gets benched for Trey Lance. Put me in, coach. Is Dak Prescott going to be the next Ray Finkel? It makes me laugh. It couldn't have happened to a better franchise. This kind of downfall. But I kind of feel like Jerry Jones is punting on the season. They'll still be the second best team. Maybe they won't be a playoff lock. Maybe they'll be a 9-18, 10-17, and battling for one of those wild card spots. Maybe 10-7 still battling for the division. Let's be honest. At this very moment, the Eagles are about a 10 or 11 win team, so it still puts them in the hunt for the division with the Eagles. It's funny. I'm saying they're punting on the season, but I'm still saying that they're going to be a 10-win team. It goes to show. Dak is mid, for sure. I agree. But he's a solid mid. He's the upper, like 15, that's the mid. He's in the just above the 15 mark. Dak Prescott is still better than a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL right now. But there are a lot of quarterbacks that I would take over Dak Prescott. I also wonder if Dak was in a different organization, would he be a better quarterback? Dallas has just been a dumpster fire for a long time. 8 likes, and 2 of them are from me. Mitchie Poo. Tobias Harris, if you do not like this video right now, that tells me you want the Eagles or the Sixers to re-sign Tobias Harris to another max contract after the show or after the season. That's what you're telling me by not clicking the like button right now. That you want Mitchie Poo to cry when Tobias Harris gets a new max deal at the end of the season. Pick 39 and J.C. Horn for Reddick. I would take that. J.C. Horn off injured, but pick 39. The J.C. Horn part is just icing on the cake for me. For sure. I know you. I assumed you liked it, Mitchie Poo. But the problem is not enough other people did. And that's because they want to see you crying when Tobias Harris gets maxed out at the end of the season. Dak is solid. He could take a team on the edge of playoff over that edge. Absolutely. I think Dak Prescott has enough skill set if a proper team is built around him to win a Super Bowl even. I mean, if Eli Manning can win 2 Super Bowls, Dak Prescott could definitely win a Super Bowl. But you got to build the right team. And you can't have a dumpster fire of an organization. The Dallas Cowboys will be a disaster until Jerry Jones relinquishes control of the day-to-day operations, till he's not the GM of the team. And hopefully he doesn't put his son in charge, but he probably will. So as long as the Jones own the Cowboys, which will be forever, the Cowboys aren't going to be relevant again for a long, long, long time. Sorry. Yeah. Mitchie Poo needs caps letters. He does not want the Sixers to keep Tobias. I guesstimated earlier in the show, Mitch, and I think in my cold open, in my monologue, that we're about 35 days away till no more Tobias Harris in Philadelphia. Just saying. And we got to be excited about that. But if more people don't like this show, that means he's going to have 35 more days till he signs his max contract extension. Oh, man. On a side note, tonight, 7:30 p.m. on ESPN, James Harden and the Los Angeles Clippers versus the Philadelphia 76ers at the Wells Fargo Center in South Philly. What kind of reaction is the Philly crowd going to give James Harden? Is it going to be a boo? Is it going to be a massive boo? I can't foresee it being as big of a booing situation as Ben Simmons' first return to Philly. But could it be bigger? I don't think so. Will he get a smattering of cheers? Because there were a bunch of Sixers fans that didn't want to trade James Harden. You got the Joel Embiid haters out there still that wanted Harden to stay and Joel Embiid to go. As my movie question, Waterboy, Happy Gilmore, and Waterboy, Happy Gilmore, and Billy Madison versus Ace Ventura, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber. What is a better trio of movies? That's an answer I can't answer. I have no idea the correct answer to that. Just like I have no idea what kind of answer to the question of what will be the reaction to James Harden when he gets introduced tonight to the live people. Will there be a little golf clap, a smattering of booing, a loud boo? Will the Philadelphia 76ers organization have a thank you James Harden video up on the screen? You can't imagine that Daryl Morey would approve a thank you message. Or maybe he does the thank you message on the screen because he's trying to get his best buddy back, just in good graces, so he can go to the Michael Rubin whiteout party and not be awkward. I have no idea what's going to happen with James Harden tonight. And, 7:30, the pizza shop closes at 8. So when there's a 7:30 game, I don't tend to get the game on. It's cleanup time. It's closing down time. Game really starts at 7:35, 7:40. Get the game on and be closing. I don't have TV, so I got to hook it up through the laptop and then through the streamcast it to the TV and whatnot. Too much work for 15 minutes. So I won't see normally the opening of the game. I will have the opening of the game on at work today just to see what that reaction is to James Harden because I'm curious. I really, really, really am curious. So we got a lineup here. Billy Madison 1, Happy Gilmore 2, Ace Ventura, Dumb and Dumber. Well, Ace Ventura 2 wasn't part of it. The Mask was. You can't. I asked the question. You can answer it. You can't change the question. You can't go take The Mask out and put Ace Ventura 2 in. Now, I still think out of all 6 that I mentioned, the Water Boy would be 6. I love Happy Gilmore. I think Happy Gilmore is probably the best of all the movies. But I don't think it's the funniest of them all. I think Billy Madison or Ace Ventura are the funniest of the 6 that I mentioned. I think I came up with the most difficult question of all time. I really do. I really think I did that. I really think I came up with the most difficult question of all time there. I really do. But the James Harden situation tonight, do we even care? Do Sixers fans care enough to boo James Harden tonight or cheer him tonight? Like, do we? Like, to an extent, I think, like, we're so, like Marshawn's always says, who cares about the Sixers anymore? Like, we're just waiting for the season to end. Like, I feel like at the same point at, like, the beginning of the process are, just get the season over with. We're gonna make the playoffs, play-in series. Maybe we get that 8 seed, when all is said and done and the play-in series is over. But most Sixers fans don't care. A lot of Sixers fans don't even want to see Joel Embiid come back. But do Sixers fans care that James Harden's returning tonight? What kind of reaction will there be? I mean, to me, if I was at the Wells Fargo Center tonight, I might drop a smidge of a boo, but I wouldn't be losing my voice booing James Harden. I also wouldn't be cheering. To me, he's just another opponent that's coming to the Wells Fargo Center trying to beat us. I can watch the following whenever they are on almost every time. Waterboy, Gilmore, Ventura. The others I have to be in the mood for. The Mask, I think I put the Mask in it. Dumb and Dumber, I have to be. Dumb and Dumber's one of the funniest of the 6 I mentioned, but I also have to be in the mood for Dumb and Dumber because there's some annoying scenes in Dumb and Dumber. And also, when it goes on, I have to be in the mood to sit for the full 2 hours because I'm going to watch the entirety of it. The others I could put on at any other time and watch 15 minutes and have no problem getting up and walking away. Get a couple chuckles, and that's it. Say who, say what, Saquon, that's who. Say who, say what, Saquon, that's who. Say who, say what, for who, for what. I thought you were trying to make a for who, for what comment there for a second. I don't know what's going to happen with James Harden tonight. I wouldn't be shocked if James Harden doesn't play tonight. Would it shock anybody if James Harden is a DNP, for a rest kind of thing? I'm looking. He's not on the injured list, so he's probably got to play. Kelly Oubre better be back for tonight. That would help the Sixers. The Sixers are 5.5-point dogs at home tonight against the Clippers. Not that anybody cares about the Sixers. We care about our Eagles. Where are we? I know it's opening day tomorrow, and I know everybody here hates talking Phillies. But you care more about the Phillies' upcoming season than the remaining of the Sixers season? Is there a scenario where people care more about baseball at this very moment than basketball, just because we know the disappointment for basketball is coming in 3 to 4 weeks? The end is near. This is the end. Do we just not care because of that? I don't know. I don't know. I care more about Phillies right now because the future at the beginning of the season is brighter than at the end of the season like the Sixers. Man, I need a Core 12 wake-up call during spring break. Good morning. Salute. What is up, Eric? You missed a fun show. You missed some of the most difficult questions of all time on this show today. And you know what? I'm going to repeat the one again for Eric if he's just walking into the show. You can put only 3 movies against 3 movies. Adam Sandler, The Waterboy, Billy Madison, and Happy Gilmore versus Jim Carrey's Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber. What are you choosing and why? It's tough. It's neck and neck. There's a reason why this poll, the vote, is neck and neck. I gained 4 more votes on my poll since the show started, and they've gone 2 and 2. It is literally that close. We care, my guy, about the Sixers. Okay. I don't seem to care right now about the Sixers personally. Well, I shouldn't say I don't care. I don't feel emotionally invested. I'm emotionally invested in the Phillies because I think the Phillies can win a World Series this year. I do. I really do. Now, I'm disappointed that they didn't get Jordan Montgomery to round out their pitching rotation, but I fully expect by July, a month before the trade deadline, when we know where this team stands and where the weaknesses are truly, starting pitching and relief pitching, that Dave Dombrowski will have the go-ahead from John Middleton to make a major trade if necessary. I do. I do. So I fully expect the Phillies to be buyers at the deadline. I fully expect them to be in the hunt come October. I fully expect them in the playoffs. Now, can they win the division over the Braves? I doubt it. The Braves are a better regular season team. And B, we get to everyone keeps saying, oh, the Phillies are going to start hot this year. Well, they're 9-15 in spring training. Not very good. They start slow. And somebody, I forget which content creator, maybe it was Luke. I forget who it was. Somebody put out there the Phillies have been like 10-15 on average the last 3 Mays. And if they go 500, they win 90 some games and they win the division. Let me tell you something. It's been 300-400 years in a row. The Phillies have started slow in April and May. Just like that, pretty much the same team. It's not going to change. They're slow starters. And they heat up as hitting weather heats up. So I don't know. Well, man, I might have to go with Jim because 3 are yeah, and I'm leaning towards Jim Carrey because Jim Carrey put out all 3 of those movies, Eric. You might not realize this. They all came out in the same exact year, 1994. And I had a double fact. I went to IMDb and then elsewhere to double check. Madison or Sandler's 3 came out over a 4-year span. Yeah, 4-year span. Jim Carrey put out 3 bangers in 1 year. Shocking. I know. It's the hardest question, not who to pick for the Texas Open or the Houston Open this weekend for PGA. It's not as tough as debating whether the hip drop tackle is a good rule change or not. It's the hardest question I've ever brought to this show. Goodfellas Godfather, easy answer. Everybody knows their answer. Everybody's thinking really hard about this one. Oh my God. I was already in high school, Mitch. I'm old. You guys are young. The majority of content creators out there are all so young. There's so many babies in the content creation world. Why did I get such a late start at this in life? I should have been doing this 20 years ago before anybody else. Then I wouldn't feel so old. Right? Well, I'd feel probably older now. But the fact that you were born the year those movies came out. Then it has to be Jim off that alone. Dude, I did not believe it when I first saw it, Art. I didn't. It was a major double. I don't fact check much when I read. I just assume it's right. I had to fact check that. Put out 3 movies in 1 year. And they're all cult classics, commercial success, and fantastic comedy. And they still stand the test of time. They do. Think about it. Jim Carrey had Courtney Cox before Friends, had Cameron Diaz before she blew up. Think about it. Did Adam Sandler ever have a girl, like an actress, in one of his movies before she was famous and then blew up? You can almost directly give Jim Carrey the credit for their career success, maybe. I don't know. I'm just making that one up. I'm spitfiring, guys. We're going to start the wrap-up process, like I said, a couple minutes early every day this week as we get set for some big changes in the coming days and weeks. Okay? Just saying it. Tomorrow, on this very show, be forewarned. Baseball it is. I got a fresh page of paper here. All my over-unders, all my predictions for the 2024 Philadelphia Phillies will be discussed on this very show. My final win prediction, which last year I projected 87 wins. I forget where they finished. Pretty close. Projected more this year, but not many. Okay? Home runs, MVPs, a poll I ran last week on Twitter. The results of that poll question. I got lots to talk about, Phillies-wise. And we are going to dive into it all tomorrow. I'm sure Philly stuff will come up tomorrow, or Eagle stuff will come up. And we'll touch on it. But I'm dedicated to the Phillies tomorrow. I will also call out The Rock and how much he sucks. Actually, no, I shouldn't even be calling out The Rock. I should be calling out Triple H and WWE for putting The Rock down my throat every single day. Like, I don't want to see him anymore on my TV screen. He's being force-fed, shoved at us far too much already. And I'm over it. So I blame them for giving The Rock the platform. I blame the TKO for putting him on the board, putting him in this position. I'm over it. The Rock return sucks. I'm sure I'll say that 4 more times tomorrow on this very show. At a minimum, probably 4 times. We covered the rule changes. We covered Jeffrey Lurie's conversation today. I would love to see what he means about Haason and Reddick. It'll all work out in a positive way. Tomorrow, we'll be back. If you guys need more time to think about the Jim Carrey versus Adam Sandler question, you could bring those answers tomorrow to the show. If you're watching this on replay and you want to give me your opinions, make sure you tune in live, 8 a.m., Monday through Friday, right here on this very channel for now. We'll be live. You could bring those conversations. Make sure you check out yesterday evening shows. Fairway to Heaven, right here on this very channel. Talking to Texas Children Houston Open. Saif Tagala winning the event. To Scotty or not to Scotty. Flipping the Birds had a great show last night as well. Talking Eagles draft prospects. Check them out. Check out Liam is back doing a lot of draft prospect video breakdowns. Make sure you tapped in. Make sure I haven't said tapped in a long time. Shout out to DSM for that one. That's just one of those little things that I said so many times it just came out. Mitchie Poo, when you was born, I was walking the streets of Coatesville like hey Eric, I just bought a house in Coatesville actually. Make settlement, not this upcoming Monday, next Monday. Just bought a house in Coatesville, Strasburg Road. Settlement April 8th. So yeah, I'm gonna be a Coatesville boy in the coming weeks. But anyway, guys, we're gonna wrap up Trending the AM right there. Like, share, subscribe, retweet, follow Mitchie Poo. I don't know if we're over 8 likes yet, but again, if we didn't get to at least 15 likes, it means that Tobias Harris is getting maxed out and it's your fault. But we're gonna wrap it up right there. Trending in the AM, Philadelphia Sports Network. I am Phil Stiefel. That's my social media handle. If I'm on it, I'm there. Thank you very much, Eric. I appreciate that. It's a big deal. We're really excited for it. But everybody have a great day. Enjoy Wednesday. Thursday, we're back. Phillies opening day, guys. Don't know if anybody knows. I changed the color on the screen to red. It's not red October, but we're painting the city red today and tomorrow and the rest of the week for opening day, guys. We normally say go Birds, but for the rest of the week to close it out, it's ring that freaking bell, guys. See you guys tomorrow.